The ancient bells of St. James's Palace rang out across London on that crisp morning, their sound carrying centuries of royal tradition through the bustling streets. But this wasn't just another ceremonial day in the British monarchy. This was the day when Prince Louis Arthur Charles, the youngest member of the Cambridge family, would be welcomed into the Church of England in a ceremony that would blend intimate family moments with the weight of royal protocol. As black cars with tinted windows began their careful procession through London's historic streets, millions around the world held their breath. Inside those vehicles sat not just members of one of the world's most watched families, but ordinary people carrying extraordinary responsibilities. There was Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, adjusting her hat one final time while keeping a watchful eye on her 3-month-old son. Prince William sat beside her, his mind racing between his roles as a father, a son, and a future king. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this day wasn't the pageantry or the protocol. It was the simple truth that beneath all the titles and traditions, this was a family celebrating the newest addition to their circle. A family that happened to live their most personal moments under the constant gaze of the world. What would unfold over the next few hours would reveal not just the public face of royalty, but the private struggles, joys, and unexpected moments that make even the most extraordinary families surprisingly human. This is their story. The morning sun cast long shadows across Kensington Palace as Catherine Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, stood before her bedroom mirror, carefully adjusting the cream-colored coat dress she had chosen for her youngest son's christening. The Alexander McQueen creation was elegant yet understated, perfect for an occasion that demanded both respect for tradition and maternal warmth. Her fingers trembled slightly as she fastened the pearl earrings that had belonged to Princess Diana, a gesture that would not go unnoticed by those who understood the deeper meanings woven into royal appearances. 3-month-old Prince Louis lay peacefully in his ornate wooden crib, wrapped in the same intricate Huntington lace christening gown that had been worn by generations of royal babies. The gown, a replica of the original Victorian gown worn by Queen Victoria's eldest daughter, represented more than fabric and thread. It carried the weight of history, the hopes of a nation, and the dreams of parents who wanted nothing more than to see their child happy and healthy. William emerged from his dressing room, adjusting his navy blue suit jacket with the practiced ease of someone who had spent his entire life preparing for public appearances. Yet today felt different. This wasn't about state duties or ceremonial obligations. This was about his family, his son, and the continuation of traditions that had shaped his own childhood. "The cars will be here in 20 minutes, he said softly, approaching Catherine as she made final adjustments to her appearance. "Are you ready for this?" Catherine turned from the mirror, her smile mixing excitement with the familiar flutter of nerves that accompanied any public appearance. "As ready as one can be for having your family's most intimate moment broadcast to millions of people," she replied with a gentle laugh that revealed both her humor and the weight of their circumstances. The past 3 months had been a whirlwind of adjustments for the Cambridge family. Adding a third child to their household had required careful orchestration, especially with Prince George, now 5 years old, starting to understand the unique nature of his family's public role, and Princess Charlotte, 3, displaying her own spirited personality that kept her parents constantly alert. Maria Barallo, the family's trusted Spanish nanny, appeared in the doorway with Charlotte and George, both dressed in their finest clothes for their baby brother's special day. George wore a smart navy suit similar to his father's, while Charlotte was adorable in a floral dress with white knee-high socks and polished Mary Jane shoes. Their excitement was palpable, though Catherine could see the careful coaching that had prepared them for the day's events. "Mama, will there be lots of people taking pictures again?" Charlotte asked, her wide eyes reflecting both curiosity and a hint of apprehension. At 3 years old, she was beginning to understand that their family outings often involved crowds of strangers with cameras. Catherine knelt down to Charlotte's eye level, smoothing her daughter's carefully styled hair. "Yes, sweetheart, there will be some people there. But remember what we talked about? Today is about welcoming baby Louis into our church family. The pictures are just because people are happy for us." George, ever the protective older brother, stepped closer to Charlotte. "I'll help you, Charlotte," Papa showed me how to walk properly, and I'll make sure you remember. William felt a surge of pride watching his eldest son's maturity. George was growing into his role as future heir with a natural dignity that both impressed and concerned his parents. They wanted him to understand his responsibilities while still experiencing the joy of childhood. A gentle knock at the door announced the arrival of William's private secretary, who entered with the careful deference that marked all interactions with the royal family. "Your Royal Highnesses, the vehicles are prepared. The Archbishop of Canterbury has arrived at the Chapel Royal, and your guests are beginning to gather." The weight of the moment settled over the room. This christening would be different from those of George and Charlotte, held in more intimate settings with smaller guest lists. Today's ceremony would take place at the Chapel Royal in St. James's Palace, the same venue where Prince George had been christened, with a carefully selected group of family members and close friends. Catherine lifted Louis from his crib, marveling at how peaceful he remained despite the activity around him. He had been an unusually calm baby from birth, seeming to possess an innate understanding that his life would unfold differently from most children's. His bright blue eyes, so similar to William's, gazed up at his mother with a trusting innocence that made her heart ache with protective love. "He's perfect," William murmured, gently stroking his son's cheek. "Completely perfect." The christening gown, with its intricate lace work and tiny pearl buttons, transformed Louis into a living link to centuries of royal tradition. Every stitch had been carefully maintained by skilled craftspeople, ensuring that the gown would continue to serve future generations of royal babies. Yet wearing it, Louis looked less like a future prince and more like any beloved baby being celebrated by his family. As they prepared to leave their private quarters, Catherine took one last look around the nursery. The walls were painted a soft sage green, decorated with whimsical illustrations of British countryside scenes. Stuffed animals sat in neat rows on shelves, gifts from well-wishers around the world who had welcomed Louis's birth with genuine joy. A wooden rocking horse, carved by a master craftsman, waited patiently for the day when Louis would be old enough to appreciate its artistry. The weight of their roles settled around them like familiar clothes as they moved toward the door. William straightened his posture slightly, a subtle shift that transformed him from a doting father into the Duke of Cambridge. Catherine's expression took on the serene composure that had become her trademark, though her hand remained protectively curved around Louis's small form. George reached up to take his father's hand, while Charlotte slipped her small fingers into her mother's free hand. The family unit moved together with a practiced coordination that spoke of many similar moments, each member understanding their part in the careful dance of royal public life. Outside their private quarters, the machinery of royal protection and protocol hummed with invisible efficiency. Security teams had been coordinating for weeks, ensuring that every aspect of the journey from Kensington Palace to St. James's Palace would proceed smoothly. The route had been carefully planned to balance security concerns with the public's desire to catch a glimpse of the royal family on this special day. The hallways of Kensington Palace echoed with their footsteps as they made their way toward the waiting vehicles. Staff members they passed offered respectful nods and warm smiles, many having worked with the family since William and Catherine's marriage. These were people who had witnessed George's first steps, Charlotte's first words, and Louis's first smiles. They understood that beneath the public personas were parents who worried about their children's happiness and well-being just like any other family. As they approached the palace's main entrance, Catherine could hear the distant sound of crowds gathering along the route to St. James's Palace. The British public's affection for royal babies was legendary, and Louis had captured hearts around the world from the moment his birth was announced. Today would be many people's first opportunity to see the newest prince, and she knew the enthusiasm would be overwhelming. William paused at the entrance, his hand on the ornate door handle. "Last chance for a quiet family moment," he said with a wry smile that acknowledged the reality of their lives. Charlotte looked up at her parents with sudden seriousness. "Will baby Louis remember this day when he's bigger?" Catherine and William exchanged glances over their daughter's head. It was a remarkably perceptive question from someone so young, touching on the heart of their constant balance between public duty and private family life. "He might not remember the details," Catherine replied thoughtfully, "but he'll always know that he was surrounded by people who love him. Sometimes that's the most important thing to remember. The doors opened, revealing the waiting convoy of official vehicles. The familiar sight of the royal protection officers, the gleaming cars with their distinctive number plates, and the subtle but unmistakable signs of heightened security marked the transition from private family time to public royal duty. As they settled into their assigned vehicle, Louis stirred slightly in his mother's arms, his eyes opening to take in the unfamiliar surroundings. For a moment, Catherine wondered what this small person would make of the extraordinary life that awaited him. Would he embrace the traditions and responsibilities that came with his birth, or would he struggle against the constraints of royal duty? The car began to move, carrying the Cambridge family toward a ceremony that would formally welcome Prince Louis into both his earthly family and his spiritual community. Behind them, Kensington Palace grew smaller in the distance, while ahead lay the ancient walls of St. James's Palace, where centuries of royal history would witness another chapter in the ongoing story of Britain's most famous family. Through the tinted windows, Catherine could see crowds of people lining the streets, their faces bright with excitement and goodwill. Many held small Union Jack flags, while others had brought flowers and handmade signs welcoming Prince Louis. The sight never failed to move her. This reminder that their family's milestones were shared by people they would never meet, but who felt genuinely connected to their story. William reached over to adjust Louis's christening gown, ensuring that every fold was perfect for the photographs that would document this day. His touch was gentle but sure, the gesture of a father who had learned to balance protective instincts with the requirements of public life. As their car turned the final corner towards St. James's Palace, the bells of London began to ring in celebration, their ancient voices carrying news of royal joy across the city and beyond. The christening of Prince Louis was about to begin. The ancient stones of St. James's Palace seemed to hold their breath as the Cambridge family's convoy approached the Tudor Gatehouse. Built by Henry VIII in the 1530s, the palace had witnessed centuries of royal celebrations, sorrows, and ceremonies. Today, its weathered brick walls and leaded windows would serve as the backdrop for Prince Louis's christening, continuing a tradition that stretched back through generations of British monarchs. Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby stood in the Chapel Royal's vestry, reviewing his notes one final time. This would be his second royal christening since his appointment, and he felt the familiar weight of responsibility that came with officiating such momentous occasions. The prayer book in his hands was worn from use, its pages marked with the ceremonies that had shaped his ministry. Today, he would welcome the youngest member of the Cambridge family into the Christian faith, speaking words that carried both ancient tradition and contemporary meaning. The Chapel Royal itself was a masterpiece of Tudor architecture, its ornate ceiling painted with the royal arms and religious symbols that reminded all who entered of the connection between earthly and heavenly authority. The walls, lined with wooden pews that had accommodated centuries of royal worshippers, seemed to echo with the voices of previous generations. Today, those same walls would witness the continuation of traditions that bound the royal family to both their faith and their people. Queen Elizabeth II arrived at the palace in her distinctive Bentley, her presence lending gravity and continuity to the proceedings. At 92 years old, she had witnessed the christenings of her children, grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren, each ceremony marking another link in the chain of royal succession. Her lady-in-waiting helped her from the car, and she moved with the careful dignity that had characterized her long reign. The Queen's outfit for the day was carefully chosen to reflect both the solemnity of the religious ceremony and the joy of a family celebration. Her powder blue coat and matching hat were elegant without being ostentatious, while her famous three-strand pearl necklace added a touch of formal grandeur. Most significantly, she wore the Diamond Prince of Wales feathers brooch, a piece that connected her to previous generations of royal women and emphasized the continuity of the monarchy. Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, arrived shortly after the Queen, their car pulling up to the same entrance where Charles himself had been christened decades earlier. The Prince of Wales carried the weight of being both a grandfather celebrating his newest grandchild and the heir to the throne witnessing another step in the line of succession. His navy blue suit was impeccably tailored, while Camilla wore a soft gray ensemble that struck the perfect balance between formality and familial warmth. The Middleton family's arrival brought a different energy to the proceedings. Carol and Michael Middleton, Catherine's parents, stepped from their car with the quiet pride of grandparents who had watched their daughter navigate the transformation from private citizen to future queen. Their journey from running a party-planning business to attending royal christenings was a modern fairy tale that never ceased to amaze royal watchers. Pippa Middleton, Catherine's sister, arrived with her husband James Matthews, their presence a reminder of the strong family bonds that had helped Catherine adapt to royal life. Pippa's relationship with the royal family had evolved from the young woman who captured global attention at the royal wedding to a valued family member who provided Catherine with crucial emotional support. James Middleton, Catherine's brother, brought his characteristic warmth and humor to the gathering. His struggles with mental health had been well documented, making his presence at family celebrations even more meaningful. The Middleton family's openness about personal challenges had helped humanize the royal family by extension, showing that even those connected to royalty faced the same struggles as ordinary families. Inside the chapel, the atmosphere was one of sacred anticipation. The altar had been prepared with the silver gilt lily font, specially brought from the Tower of London for the occasion. This font, created for the christening of Queen Victoria's eldest daughter in 1841, had been used for the baptisms of royal babies for over a century and a half. Its intricate engravings depicted biblical scenes of baptism, connecting Prince Louis's ceremony to the broader Christian tradition of welcoming new believers into the faith. The Jordan water that would be used for the christening had been specially brought from the River Jordan in Israel, continuing a tradition established by the royal family to use water from the same river where Jesus Christ was baptized. This connection to the Holy Land added spiritual significance to the ceremony, emphasizing the religious foundation that underpinned the monarchy's role as head of the Church of England. As guests began to take their seats in the chapel's intimate confines, the careful choreography of royal protocol became evident. Each person's position had been predetermined not just by family relationships, but by their place in the complex hierarchy of royal precedence. Yet despite the formality, the atmosphere remained warm and familial, with quiet conversations and genuine smiles as family members greeted one another. Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, had been notably absent from the guest list, their absence reflecting the careful balance the royal family maintained in managing family relationships while considering security concerns and media attention. Their recent wedding had brought its own media frenzy, and the decision to keep Louis's christening more intimate meant that some family members would celebrate from afar. The godparents began arriving at the chapel, each carrying the weight of their special role in Prince Louis's spiritual development. Unlike the large number of godparents chosen for Prince George and Princess Charlotte, William and Catherine had selected a more intimate group of 6 individuals who represented different aspects of their lives and values. Nicholas Van Cutsum, William's close friend since childhood, arrived with his wife Alice. Their friendship dated back to their school days, and Nicholas had served as an usher at William's wedding. His selection as a godparent reflected the importance William placed on long-standing friendships and the normal relationships that had helped ground him throughout his life in the public eye. Guy Pelly, another of William's longtime friends, brought his characteristic energy and loyalty to his new role as godparent. Known for his spirited personality and unwavering friendship, Guy represented the fun-loving side of William's character and the importance of maintaining genuine friendships despite the constraints of royal life. Harry Aubrey Fletcher, a family friend of the Cambridges, arrived with quiet dignity. His selection highlighted the couple's appreciation for those who had supported them through various challenges and celebrations, understanding that royal life required friends who could navigate both public scrutiny and private moments with equal grace. Lady Laura Mead, wife of James Mead, who was an usher at William and Catherine's wedding, represented the female friendships that had been crucial to Catherine's adjustment to royal life. Her presence emphasized the importance of having trusted confidants who understood the unique pressures and privileges of their position. Robert Carter, a friend of Catherine's family, brought connections to her pre-royal life, reminding everyone present that the future queen had deep roots in relationships that preceded her entry into the royal family. His inclusion demonstrated the couple's commitment to maintaining connections to all aspects of their lives. Hannah Gillingham, another close friend of Catherine's, completed the godparent group. Her friendship with Catherine dated back years, providing continuity and stability in a life that had undergone dramatic changes since the royal engagement was announced. As the godparents took their places in the chapel, the weight of their responsibilities became clear. They would be more than honorary figures in Prince Louis's life. They would be active participants in his spiritual development, trusted advisors, and loving supporters throughout his journey from baby prince to whatever role his future might hold. The chapel filled with the soft murmur of conversation as family members and close friends settled into their seats. The Duke of Gloucester and the Duke of Kent, representing the Queen's generation of royal cousins, brought dignified presence to the proceedings. Their own experiences of royal christenings, weddings, and funerals provided historical perspective on the day's significance. Princess, and known for her practical approach to royal duties, arrived with characteristic efficiency. Her no-nonsense attitude and dedication to public service made her a respected figure within the royal family, and her presence at Louis's christening emphasized the supportive network that surrounded the newest generation of royals. The Earl and Countess of Wessex, Prince Edward and Sophie, brought their own experience as parents of royal children to the gathering. The afternoon light streaming through the stained glass windows cast colorful patterns on the ancient stone floors, while the soft sounds of conversation created an atmosphere of anticipation and joy. Outside the chapel walls, crowds of well-wishers continued to gather, their presence a reminder that this private family moment would resonate far beyond the palace gates. The christening of Prince Louis represented more than a religious ceremony. It was a moment of continuity and hope for the institution of monarchy and the nation it served. The Archbishop of Canterbury made his final preparations, understanding that the words he would speak would become part of royal history. The prayer book in his hands contained ceremonies that had welcomed generations of British royals into the Christian faith, and today he would add another chapter to that sacred tradition. As the appointed time approached, the chapel settled into expectant silence, ready to witness the formal welcome of Prince Louis Arthur Charles into both his earthly family and his spiritual community. The stage was set for a ceremony that would blend ancient traditions with contemporary meaning, creating memories that would last for generations to come. The moment had arrived. The ornate doors of the chapel royal opened with ceremonial gravity, revealing the Cambridge family in all their formal splendor. William and Catherine walked side by side, their movements synchronized through years of public appearances, yet today carrying an extra weight of parental pride. Catherine cradled Prince Louis in her arms, the baby's serene expression suggesting he remained blissfully unaware of the historical significance of his day. Prince George walked between his parents with remarkable composure for a 5-year-old, his small hand clasped in his father's larger one. His navy suit was immaculate, his hair carefully combed, but his eyes sparkled with the curiosity of childhood as he took in the grandeur of the ancient chapel. Princess Charlotte, ever the spirited 3-year-old, maintained her grip on her mother's free hand while stealing glances at the assembled guests with a mixture of shyness and bold interest. The procession moved slowly down the chapel's central aisle, past pews filled with the most important people in the royal family's personal and official lives. Each step carried them deeper into a ceremony that would formally mark Prince Louis's entry into both the Anglican faith and the complex world of royal responsibility that awaited all members of the House of Windsor. As they approached the altar, Prince Louis stirred in his mother's arms, his blue eyes opening wide as if sensing the solemnity of the moment. The Huntington lace of his christening gown caught the light filtering through the stained glass windows, transforming the baby into a vision of royal tradition and innocent hope. Catherine adjusted her hold slightly, whispering soft words of comfort that only her son could hear. The Archbishop of Canterbury stepped forward with a measured dignity that marked his approach to all significant ceremonies. Justin Welby had officiated at countless baptisms throughout his ministry, but royal christenings carried special weight. They represented not just the welcoming of a child into the Christian faith, but the continuation of the sacred bond between the monarchy and the Church of England that had defined British spiritual and temporal life for centuries. Dearly beloved, the Archbishop began, his voice carrying clearly through the chapel's acoustically perfect space. We are gathered here in the sight of God, and in the presence of this congregation, to welcome Prince Louis Arthur Charles into the Church of God through the sacrament of baptism. The ancient words resonated with power and tradition, connecting this moment to countless previous christenings that had taken place within these same walls. Queen Elizabeth II, seated in the front pew, followed along in her prayer book with the familiarity of someone who had witnessed this ceremony many times before. Her expression mixed the formal composure required by her position with the warm affection of a great-grandmother celebrating a beloved family milestone. Prince Charles and Camilla watched with visible emotion as their youngest grandchild prepared to receive the sacrament that would formally welcome him into the faith. The Prince of Wales, himself christened in these very surroundings decades earlier, understood the weight of tradition being passed to another generation. His own memories of royal christenings, both as participant and observer, added layers of meaning to the moment. The Middleton family observed the proceedings with quiet dignity, their presence serving as a reminder of how the royal family had evolved to embrace members from outside the traditional aristocratic circles. Carol Middleton's eyes never strayed far from her daughter and newest grandchild, maternal concern evident despite the formality of the setting. Archbishop Welby continued the service with the traditional questions that had been asked at royal christenings for generations. Do you, as parents and godparents, turn to Christ? The responses came clearly from William and Catherine, their voices strong with conviction despite the emotion of the moment. The 6 godparents stood as their names were called, each taking on the sacred responsibility of supporting Prince Louis's spiritual development throughout his life. Their selection represented careful thought about the kind of influences William and Catherine wanted surrounding their son. These were people who understood both the privileges and burdens of royal life, individuals who could provide guidance, friendship, and stability as Louis grew into his unique role. Nicholas Van Cutsum stepped forward first, his face serious with the weight of responsibility, but warm with affection for the family he had known for decades. His wife Alice stood beside him, both understanding that their role would extend far beyond this ceremony into years of support and friendship for the young prince. Guy Pelly followed, bringing his characteristic energy even to this solemn moment. His friendship with William had weathered the storms of public scrutiny and personal growth, proving the kind of loyalty that would be invaluable to Louis as he navigated his own path through royal life. The other godparents, Harry Aubrey Fletcher, Lady Laura Mead, Robert Carter, and Hannah Gillingham, each carried their own history with the Cambridge family, representing different aspects of the support network that had helped William and Catherine build their strong marriage and family life. As the service progressed, Prince Louis remained remarkably calm, occasionally making the soft sounds that delighted parents everywhere, but never crying or fussing despite the unfamiliar surroundings and formal atmosphere. His peaceful demeanor seemed to set the tone for the entire ceremony, suggesting a child who would adapt well to the extraordinary circumstances of his birth and upbringing. The moment arrived for the actual baptism. Catherine walked slowly to the silver gilt lily font, her steps careful and deliberate as she carried her precious burden. The font, gleaming in the chapel's soft light, had welcomed generations of royal babies into the Christian faith. Today it would add another name to its illustrious history. Prince William stood beside his wife, his hand gently resting on her shoulder in a gesture of support and shared responsibility. Together, they had navigated the challenges of royal parenthood twice before, but each child brought new experiences and emotions. Louis represented not just their third child, but another life they would guide through the complexities of modern royal existence. The Jordan water, blessed for this sacred purpose, waited in a crystal vessel beside the font. Its connection to the river, where Jesus himself was baptized, added profound spiritual significance to the moment. As the archbishop prepared to pour the water, the chapel fell into reverent silence, broken only by the soft sounds of Prince Louis himself. Louis Arthur Charles, Archbishop Welby announced clearly, "I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit." The blessed water touched the baby's forehead, and Prince Louis became a full member of the Church of England, joining his parents, siblings, and extended family in the faith that had shaped British royal tradition for centuries. The moment was captured by the official photographer, but, more importantly, it was witnessed by the people who would shape Prince Louis's life in the years to come. The combination of ancient tradition and contemporary family love created an atmosphere that honored both the ceremony's religious significance and its deeply personal meaning. Princess Charlotte watched the proceedings with wide eyes, occasionally leaning against her father's leg for comfort, while maintaining the remarkable composure that had become her trademark at royal events. Her interest in her baby brother's ceremony was evident, though her 3-year-old attention span required gentle management from her parents. Prince George stood with the bearing of someone already beginning to understand the weight of royal responsibility. His behavior throughout the service demonstrated the careful training he had received in royal protocol, but also the natural dignity that seemed to be developing as he grew into his role as future heir. The Archbishop continued with the traditional prayers and blessings that completed the baptismal service. His words carried both the weight of centuries and the hope of the future, recognizing Prince Louis as both a beloved child and a future servant of the crown and country. As the formal ceremony concluded, the atmosphere in the chapel shifted subtly from sacred solemnity to family celebration. The religious obligations had been fulfilled. Now came the gentler moment of family gathering and mutual joy in welcoming the newest member of their circle. Queen Elizabeth II rose from her seat with the careful dignity that marked all her movements, approaching her great-grandchild with evident affection. Her interaction with Prince Louis represented the meeting of the monarchy's longest-serving sovereign with its newest member, a poignant reminder of the institution's continuity across generations. The family began to move toward the chapel's vestry, where the official photographs would be taken. These images would become part of royal history, documenting not just the ceremony itself, but the relationships and emotions that surrounded this significant moment. The photographers understood their responsibility to capture both the formal requirements of royal documentation and the genuine family connections that made these occasions meaningful. Outside the chapel, crowds of well-wishers continued their patient vigil, understanding that they were witnessing history in the making. The christening of Prince Louis represented more than a religious ceremony. It was a moment of national celebration and continuity that connected the monarchy to the people it served. The bells of London continued their joyful proclamation, their ancient voices carrying news of royal celebration across a city that had witnessed centuries of such moments. Today's christening would take its place in the long history of royal ceremonies that marked the passage of time and the continuation of traditions that bound past, present, and future together. As the Cambridge family prepared for the next phase of the day's celebrations, Prince Louis slept peacefully in his mother's arms, unaware that he had just participated in a ceremony that would shape his entire life. The christening gown that had welcomed him into the faith would be carefully preserved, ready to serve future generations of royal babies in the years and decades to come. The ancient walls of St. James's Palace had witnessed another chapter in the ongoing story of British royalty, their stones holding the echoes of prayers and blessings that would resonate through Prince Louis's life and beyond. The ceremony was complete, but its significance would continue to unfold in the years ahead as the young prince grew into his unique role in the modern world. The vestry of the Chapel Royal transformed into a photographer studio as the official documentation of Prince Louis's christening began. The room, normally reserved for quiet preparation and prayer, now buzzed with carefully orchestrated activity as royal photographers prepared to capture images that would become part of British royal history. These photographs would serve multiple purposes: official records for the royal archives, formal portraits for palace releases, and intimate family memories for the Cambridge household. Matt Holyoke, the chosen photographer for this significant occasion, approached his task with the reverence it deserved. His previous work with the royal family had earned him their trust, crucial for capturing authentic moments during such formal proceedings. The lighting in the ancient vestry required careful adjustment to ensure the photographs would properly showcase both the magnificence of the setting and the intimate nature of the family gathering. The first formal photograph arranged the entire christening party in a carefully composed group. Queen Elizabeth II, resplendent in her powder blue ensemble, took her place at the center of the arrangement, her position reflecting both her status as sovereign and her role as the family's matriarch. The photograph would document not just Prince Louis's christening, but a moment when 4 generations of the royal family came together in celebration. Prince Charles and Camilla flanked the Queen, their placement emphasizing the line of succession while maintaining the familial warmth that characterized the best royal portraits. The Prince of Wales wore his characteristic expression of dignified affection, while the Duchess of Cornwall's gentle smile reflected her growing comfort in her royal role and her genuine fondness for her step-grandchildren. William and Catherine, as the baby's parents, naturally claimed positions of honor in the photograph. Catherine held Prince Louis with practiced ease, the baby's christening gown arranged to show its intricate lacework to best advantage. William's protective posture toward his family was evident even in the formal composition, his hand resting lightly on Catherine's shoulder in a gesture that spoke of partnership and shared responsibility. Prince George and Princess Charlotte brought youthful energy to the formal arrangement, their positions carefully chosen to showcase their growing roles within the royal family structure. George's serious expression reflected his developing understanding of royal protocol, while Charlotte's bright smile captured her spirited personality that had already endeared her to the public. The godparents arranged themselves around the family group, their presence emphasizing the extended network of support that would surround Prince Louis throughout his upbringing. Each had been carefully chosen not just for their relationship with William and Catherine, but for their ability to provide guidance and friendship as Louis grew into his royal responsibilities. The Middleton family's inclusion in the formal photographs represented the modern monarchy's evolution toward embracing members from outside traditional aristocratic circles. Carol and Michael Middleton's presence emphasized the importance of maternal grandparents in royal family life, while Pippa and James Middleton represented the sibling relationships that had provided Catherine with crucial support throughout her adjustment to royal life. Between formal poses, the photographers captured more spontaneous moments that revealed the genuine family dynamics beneath the ceremonial surface. Queen Elizabeth II's interaction with Prince Louis showed the tender side of Britain's longest-serving monarch, her great-grandmother's affection evident in every gentle gesture and warm smile. Prince Charles's delight in his newest grandchild was palpable as he leaned in for a closer look at the baby. His own experience as a father and grandfather had mellowed some of the formal reserve that characterized his public persona, allowing his genuine warmth to shine through in these private family moments. The children provided some of the day's most charming photographic opportunities. Prince George's careful attention to his baby brother showed the protective instincts already developing in the young prince, while Princess Charlotte's animated expressions and occasional giggles reminded everyone present that royal children were still children, regardless of their extraordinary circumstances. One particularly moving photograph captured Catherine gazing down at Prince Louis with an expression of pure maternal love. The image would later be cherished by the family as a perfect representation of the bond between mother and child, unaffected by titles or ceremonial requirements. Her cream-colored dress created an elegant backdrop for the intricate christening gown, while her expression radiated the contentment of a mother celebrating her child's special day. William's protective stance in the family photographs spoke to his dual role as devoted father and future king. His positioning near Catherine and their children created a visual representation of the tight family unit they had worked to maintain despite the pressures of public life. The photographer captured moments when William's formal composure softened into genuine paternal pride and affection. The godparents' individual photographs with Prince Louis emphasized their special relationships with the family and their commitment to supporting the young prince's development. Each godparent brought their own history with William and Catherine, and the photographs documented not just their formal roles, but the genuine friendship and affection that had earned them these positions of trust. As the formal photography session progressed, Prince Louis maintained his remarkable calm, occasionally opening his bright blue eyes to gaze around the room, but never becoming fussy despite the unfamiliar surroundings and constant activity. His peaceful demeanor seemed to set a relaxed tone for the entire gathering, allowing natural expressions and genuine emotions to emerge in the photographs. The vestry's ancient atmosphere provided a magnificent backdrop for the christening photographs. The wooden paneling, carved with centuries-old religious symbols, emphasized the spiritual significance of the day's ceremony, while the soft light filtering through leaded windows created the perfect ambience for both formal portraits and intimate family moments. Between photography sessions, family members enjoyed quiet conversations and gentle interactions with the newest prince. These informal moments, while not photographed for public consumption, provided the genuine family bonding that made royal gatherings meaningful beyond their ceremonial significance. The sound of quiet laughter and affectionate conversation filled the historic space. Queen Elizabeth II's interactions with her great-grandchildren during the photography session revealed the gentle grandmother beneath the sovereign's formal exterior. Her conversations with George and Charlotte, encouraging their good behavior while showing interest in their thoughts and feelings, demonstrated the personal relationships that flourished within the royal family structure. The Archbishop of Canterbury joined several of the formal photographs, his presence emphasizing the religious foundation of both the christening ceremony and the monarchy itself. His warm interactions with the family reflected the comfortable relationship between the royal household and the Anglican Church that he represented as its senior bishop. As the photography session neared its conclusion, the family gathered for one final group portrait that would serve as the official commemoration of Prince Louis's christening. This image would be released to the public, shared with Commonwealth nations, and preserved in royal archives as documentation of this significant moment in royal history. The photographer's assistant carefully arranged Prince Louis's christening gown one final time, ensuring that every detail would be perfectly preserved in the official photographs. The gown's historical significance made it an important element in the visual documentation, connecting this moment to previous royal christenings and future ceremonies yet to come. Catherine made final adjustments to her own appearance, smoothing her dress and checking that her diamond and pearl earrings were perfectly positioned. These small gestures reflected the careful attention to detail required for royal photographs that would be scrutinized and preserved for posterity. William straightened his tie and ensured that Prince George's suit was properly arranged, the father-son interaction demonstrating the passing of knowledge about royal presentation from one generation to the next. These lessons in public appearance and protocol began early in royal families, preparing children for their lifelong roles in the public eye. The final photographs captured not just a moment in time, but a representation of the monarchy's continuity and the family bonds that sustained it. 4 generations stood together in celebration of the newest member, their relationships and affections clearly evident despite the formal nature of the documentation. As the photography session concluded, family members began to relax their formal poses and return to more natural interactions. The successful completion of the official documentation meant that the day's formal requirements had been fulfilled, allowing the family to transition into the more relaxed atmosphere of the private reception that would follow. The photographers began the careful process of reviewing their work, understanding that these images would become part of royal history and would be studied and admired for generations to come. Their responsibility extended beyond simply documenting the event to creating artistic representations that honored both the ceremony's significance and the family's genuine bonds. Prince Louis, having successfully participated in his first major royal photo shoot, continued his peaceful slumber in his mother's arms. His calm demeanor throughout the extended session had made the photographer's task much easier, and had allowed for the capture of numerous beautiful images that would preserve this special day for future generations. The ancient vestry, having served as backdrop for these historic photographs, would return to its normal quiet function, but the memories and images created within its walls would endure as testament to another successful royal celebration. The walls had witnessed another chapter in the ongoing story of British royalty, their stones holding the echoes of joy and tradition that characterized the best royal occasions. The private reception following Prince Louis's christening took place in the morning room of St. James's Palace, a space that had witnessed countless royal celebrations throughout its distinguished history. The room's elegant proportions and tasteful furnishings provided the perfect setting for the intimate gathering that would mark the conclusion of this significant day in royal family life. Afternoon sunlight streamed through the tall windows, casting warm patterns across the Persian carpets and illuminating the family portraits that lined the silk-covered walls. These paintings depicted generations of royal ancestors, their presence serving as silent witnesses to the continuation of traditions that bound past, present, and future together in an unbroken chain of heritage and responsibility. The refreshments have been carefully chosen to reflect both the celebratory nature of the occasion and the refined tastes of the royal household. A selection of delicate sandwiches, elegant pastries, and traditional British tea-time treats adorned silver platters arranged on mahogany side tables. The centerpiece was a specially commissioned christening cake, its design incorporating elements that honored both the religious significance of the day and the personal preferences of the Cambridge family. Queen Elizabeth II settled into her preferred chair with the careful grace that marked all her movements, accepting a cup of Earl Grey tea served in the finest bone china. Her presence continued to anchor the gathering, her decades of experience in royal family celebrations evident in the easy way she navigated between formal protocol and genuine family warmth. Her interactions with her great-grandchildren revealed the loving grandmother beneath the sovereign's public persona. Prince George and Princess Charlotte, their formal behavior during the ceremony now relaxed into more natural childhood expressions, moved carefully around the elegant room under the watchful eyes of their parents. Their excitement at being included in such an important family gathering was evident, though their well-trained manners ensured they remained respectful of the surroundings and their distinguished guests. Catherine found herself able to relax for the first time that day, settling into comfortable conversation with family members while keeping Prince Louis close in her arms. The successful completion of the christening ceremony and photography session allowed her maternal instincts to focus purely on enjoying this special time with their loved ones, free from the pressures of public performance and media scrutiny. The godparents mingled easily with the family, their presence emphasizing the extended network of friendship and support that surrounded the Cambridge children. Their conversations with William and Catherine reflected relationships that had deepened over years of shared experiences, creating bonds that would provide stability and guidance for Prince Louis throughout his upbringing. Nicholas Van Cutsem and his wife Alice spoke quietly with Prince Charles about their new responsibilities as godparents, their discussion revealing the serious way they approached their role in Prince Louis's spiritual and personal development. Their long friendship with William provided them with unique insights into the challenges and privileges that lay ahead for the young prince. Guy Pelly's characteristic warmth filled his conversations with family members, his ability to maintain genuine friendships despite the complexities of royal life, making him a valued presence at family gatherings. His interactions with Prince George and Princess Charlotte showed his natural ease with children and his understanding of how to balance respect for their royal status with the normal relationships they craved. The Middleton family brought their own distinctive energy to the royal gathering, their presence serving as a bridge between Catherine's pre-royal life and her current extraordinary circumstances. Carol Middleton's evident pride in her daughter and newest grandchild was tempered by the dignified composure she had developed through years of royal family gatherings. Michael Middleton's quiet dignity and genuine warmth made him a welcome presence at royal celebrations, his business background and practical approach to life providing grounding influences that the royal family valued. His interactions with Prince William reflected the mutual respect and affection that had developed between the two families over the years. Pippa and James Middleton contributed to the relaxed atmosphere with their easy conversation and genuine affection for their royal nephew and nieces. Their presence reminded everyone of the importance of extended family relationships in providing normal interactions and emotional support for children growing up in extraordinary circumstances. Archbishop Welby joined the family for refreshments, his transition from ceremonial officiant to family friend demonstrating the personal relationships that often developed between the royal family and senior church officials. His conversations with various family members reflected both his pastoral care for their spiritual well-being and his genuine interest in their lives beyond their public roles. Prince Louis remained the center of attention throughout the reception, passed gently between admiring family members who marveled at his peaceful temperament and obvious contentment. Each person who held him seemed to recognize the privilege of cradling the newest member of the royal family, understanding that they were participating in the earliest moments of a life that would unfold in ways they could barely imagine. Prince Charles's interaction with his newest grandchild revealed the softer side of Britain's future king, his grandfather's affection evident in every gentle word and careful gesture. His experience with his own children and previous grandchildren had taught him to treasure these quiet family moments that provided respite from the constant demands of public duty. Camilla's growing comfort in her role as royal step-grandmother was evident in her natural interactions with all the Cambridge children. Her genuine warmth and maternal instincts had earned her an important place in the family dynamic, providing additional support and affection for children who would need all the stability they could find. The Duke of Gloucester and Duke of Kent, representing the Queen's generation of royal cousins, brought their own perspectives on royal childhood and development to conversations about Prince Louis's future. Their experiences navigating royal life in previous decades provided valuable insights into the challenges and opportunities that awaited the newest prince. Princess Anne's practical approach to royal duties extended to her interactions with her great-nephew. Her conversations with William and Catherine reflecting her understanding of the complexities involved in raising children who must balance normal development with preparation for extraordinary responsibilities. The Earl and Countess of Wessex shared their own experiences of raising royal children in the modern era, their insights particularly valuable given their success in providing their children with relatively normal upbringings despite their royal status. Their conversations with the Cambridge family reflected shared values and mutual support in navigating the challenges of royal parenthood. As the afternoon progressed, the atmosphere in the morning room grew increasingly relaxed and familial. The successful completion of the formal ceremonies allowed genuine relationships and natural affections to flourish, creating the kind of warm family gathering that provided essential emotional nourishment for all participants. Prince George's careful attention to his baby brother throughout the reception demonstrated the protective instincts already developing in the young prince. His interactions with Prince Louis, supervised but encouraged by his parents, showed the beginning of sibling bonds that would provide crucial support throughout their shared royal journey. Princess Charlotte's spirited personality emerged fully during the relaxed reception atmosphere, her conversations with various family members revealing the intelligence and charm that had already made her a family favorite. Her obvious delight in her baby brother's presence suggested strong sibling relationships developing within the Cambridge family. The photography continued in a more informal manner during the reception, capturing genuine family interactions and spontaneous moments that would provide treasured private memories alongside the formal documentation of the day's ceremonies. These images would remain within family collections, preserving the authentic emotions and relationships that made royal celebrations meaningful. As the reception drew to its natural conclusion, family members began the gradual process of departure that marked the end of significant royal gatherings. The farewells were warm and affectionate, reflecting the genuine bonds that sustained the royal family through both celebrations and challenges. Queen Elizabeth II's departure provided a natural signal for the gathering's conclusion, her presence having blessed the day with continuity and tradition, while her participation in family conversations had demonstrated the personal relationships that flourished alongside formal royal protocols. The Cambridge family prepared for their return to Kensington Palace with the satisfaction that comes from successfully navigating a significant royal milestone. The christening of Prince Louis had been accomplished with the dignity and grace required by their public roles while maintaining the warmth and intimacy essential for genuine family celebration. Catherine settled Prince Louis in his car seat for the journey home. The baby's continued contentment suggesting that his first major royal appearance had been as successful for him as for his family. The christening gown would be carefully preserved, ready to serve future generations while holding the memories of this perfect day. William's sense of accomplishment was evident as he ensured his family was comfortable for the journey home. The successful balance of public duty and private celebration represented the kind of royal occasion that honored tradition while nurturing the relationships that would sustain future generations. As their convoy departed St. James's Palace, the ancient walls settled back into their usual quiet dignity, having witnessed another successful chapter in the ongoing story of British royalty. The christening of Prince Louis Arthur Charles had been completed with all the ceremony and celebration it deserved, creating memories that would last for generations while successfully launching the youngest prince into his extraordinary life journey. The day's success lay not just in the flawless execution of centuries-old traditions, but in the genuine love and support that had surrounded Prince Louis from his first moments as a baptized member of both his family and his faith. The foundations had been laid for a life that would balance public service with personal fulfillment, supported by relationships that honored both duty and genuine affection. The bells of London's churches continued their celebratory pealing as the royal family returned to their private lives, their voices carrying the joy of the day across a nation that had shared in the celebration of their newest prince. Prince Louis's christening was complete, but his story was just beginning.